Hello, everybody, wherever you are. This is the 2A Radio, the African Actions Network, radio and television station. This morning, we have the two distinguished individuals, that is Dr. George Kopu and Mr. George Numo. These are Liberians who will discuss the issues concerning elections in Liberia, campaign financing. Like a few days ago, we saw a lot of persons in the street. The CDC, how much money are they spending? Besides the CDC, we look at the United Party. Where are they getting money from to run their campaign? And other political parties like the CPP, the LPP, and other political parties, where are they getting the money from to finance their campaign? Also, we want to look at transparency. This election is still going to be free, fair, and transparent. Are there conditions that we can now safely say there will be a free and fair elections? Well, Dr. Gopo and George Nomo will be telling us more about their perspective, and also we look at how can Liberia maintain the peace during elections and after elections. Look at the examples around West Africa, what is happening after elections. Some people get this certified and it turn to coup. We do not want those kind of situations in Liberia. The U.S. Embassy has also issued a statement calling for an open elections. These are issues we will look at this morning. And so, Dr. Gopo, welcome to 2A Radio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here, Jensen.
Okay. Mr. George Nomo, the all soft talking former Chief Operating Officer of the General Auditing Commission. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, sir.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have the two of you here. Now we're talking about election, Liberia. What are you people hearing about Liberia? Let's start with you, Dr. Gumpo. How you look at the elections? Generally, what is the perspective about Liberia elections, Liberia and its election?
I think the election is a positive thing because it provides an opportunity to review and reflect on where we have been, the kind of leadership we've had in terms of fulfillment of campaign promises. And it provides an opportunity for voters to either fire the leadership in power or preserve it. So I think people are excited about elections because I think it gives power to the people to decide which direction they want to take their country. So for Liberia, I think it's an important moment because since the end of the Civil War, going on a democratic path, which was one of the reasons that caused the Civil War, an open democratic path where citizens can participate, has been sustained since the end of the Civil War in 2003. So I think it's a very good moment for the country.
Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. Mr. Nomo.
Yes.
I know you had your microscope over Liberia.
Please repeat.
I said, I know you had your microscope over Liberia. What a microscope, a telescope over Liberia. What's happening? What's the perspective of the elections, the running around, campaign in general? We're going to discuss the detail, but just give us some overview of what you see going on in Liberia and its elections.
I feel that elections bring change. I feel that election brings development. But this kind of excitement I'm seeing, I can only compare it to 1985 election.
Okay. How?
Jackson Doe won the election, and Samuel Doe was declared the winner. I mean, uh, those days you don't see money campaigning. I mean, it was from the bottom of the heart of the campaigners,
Okay.
and the voters were not expecting money from the opponent. But yesterday, the opponent won the election, and the sitting president was declared the winner. And I'm afraid uh, that could happen again. But
So, but that,
you made reference to
mm,
the embassy statement,
right.
and besides that statement you read, there is a suggestion or a letter to the election commission that a
Okay.
U.S. embassy is requesting to have its representative at all the polling centers in the country during the voting, during the counting of the ballots. That is the request. That is what I'm hearing now.
Yeah,
But
you are right.
okay,
You are right. You are right. The statement, the U.S. embassy, new ambassador statement is out. We have read it,
uh-huh.
and indeed, that's what the ambassador is saying. But again, the ball is in the court of politicians. The U.S. embassy wants the polling centers to be open. They want the voting, the tallying to be open. But
Yeah.
you politicians, do you have mechanism? Are you able to have a representatives or have poll watchers at all of the centers? Do you have the means to do that? It's a different thing for the embassy to advocate for all polling places to be open to political parties. It's another thing to have an individual political party or political parties to even agree to send poll watchers at those various centers. If you do not do that, and then you wait in the crowd file afterward, that's some of the problem that we all. So, are you people prepared? Are politicians prepared? Are political parties prepared?
Well, I cannot speak for all the parties. Um, I support Joseph Boakai, and uh, the committee I chair, which is the John Molu Committee. We are recruiting pool watchers in Liberia and from the U.S. Those who are going to Liberia for the election, pool watchers, uh, trainers. We are in the process doing that. That's
So,
all I know.
so even though this is not a United Party show here, but we want to send a caveat to all of those. We are open. This is an
Yeah,
independent view.
I mean,
Yeah.
is independent, and
Okay.
I think every party that is taking part in the election should start something like that.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, if any party, reach out to me, I can send them, give them a layout or a spreadsheet where they will just
Okay.
go and type in a name and type in the VCR code, the VR center, everything, the district, the county, and
But I
uh,
think there is I saw I think a John statement few weeks ago
okay,
from the I think that the government can speak to that
mhm,
from the different political parties
yeah,
that they will protect the voters' right. I mean the voters' vote. So
yeah.
that means probably what you're saying. You are supposed to maybe have a general information because it's not easy to have pool watchers at the different centers. Let's be honest, it's expensive and the roads are bad. So there's a lot need to be put into that process if you want to
So,
have.
but does the U.S. Embassy letter imply that it has the resources to to provide to provide to send representative at these various polling places,
No,
or
I
they're
think
just saying it should be made available to political parties?
what I
Is
read.
the U.S. talking about its own representation at the counting places and at the polling centers?
No, I think what is of public knowledge is that the United States government is giving support to the election process, right? And the United States government is interested in having a free, fair, transparent elections. They are also sending the caveat so that political parties will have the opportunity to have, the election commission should have these polling places be open, and that those who are participating in the elections or Liberians will have the opportunity, like civil society grouping, should have an opportunity to watch the process. I think that's what they're advocating for.
I
Yeah.
think one of my sources told me, I don't remember the name of the guy, uh, got uh, $1.4 million from USAID. Uh,
Okay.
I mean, I believe to maybe represent U.S. interests at the polling centers.
1.4 million.
Yes.
Is that for support to the election commission or just
No,
for
no. It's Liberian NGO,
okay
not,
civil
not,
society
not the
grouping?
election commission. Yes.
Okay, that's a public information. I think those who are watching can take.
But that sounds good, but I think it's inadequate though for the entire country. 1.4 million.
Well, how much they pay pool watchers? For $20?
Per day?
Yeah, that's a 1 day event.
Yeah, but twenty
Yeah,
dollars. How do they get to
$20.
the polling centers?
But
That what
for this
that
kind of
How
what
do they?
they
critical for this
that
kind of
what
critical
that what they
high
used to
risk.
do. Now I'm saying parties, not US now. US no will be more than that, way more
Oh,
than that.
Mr. Numa, that's a very good information, sir. But what is $20? Let's look at it. You got to send somebody to Roy G, or send
Mhm.
somebody to what do I say? Bokonjide, uh,
No, no,
Butuo.
Jensen, that is not
Uh,
how it is done.
okay.
Bokonjide,
Uh,
the local party officials there, send the names to the party headquarters, and
okay.
those people are certificated to serve as party pool watcher. You can send anybody from Monrovia and say go to Maryland County and be pool watcher there. So
Hmm.
it is done locally.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, we just hope that we don't just sending people, but people who will be
Uh-huh.
able to have the competence, right? And that's what I'm crossing my eyes on that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so we can say, look, this is not right, this is right, and take notes and be able to report to the different party executive or whatever you call it, the structure
Yeah.
you call it. But let's
Yeah.
let's go further. We don't have much time this morning. Campaign financing is an issue that the government
Mhm.
will want you to give us a take on that. We look at the
Yeah,
CDC yesterday. That was before yesterday, rather. There was a lot of human
right.
beings
I
in the
think
street. We know
campaign financing, the way campaigns are financed and the amount of financing is highly important, especially in a nation that is struggling with the problem of corruption. And there are laws regulating expenditures on campaign, and that stress that the sources of funds should be purely Liberian.
uh,
I the detail of the law can be discussed, but the essence of it is that the election should be financed by Liberians or by Liberian resources. But what we are hearing about the quantity of money that some of the political parties are bringing in or spending is concerning, especially uh, the information circulating that one of the political party has a campaign budget of 50 million. So I'm concerned about the impact that excessive expenditure in the campaign will have on the level of corruption in this country, because we know that the sources of funds in Liberia is limited, and we know that there's a lot of struggles. So I would say that it is time for the audit process to begin. I do not think the way auditing is done in Liberia, where people wait until the crime occurs before they get serious about audit. I think for those who are expert, they will agree that there can be pre-audit, where you begin to look at the process and you begin to look at some of the channels and begin to identify and try to raise alarm, so that some of these guidelines can be followed rather than waiting till later. And so we Liberians have to be vigilant to really begin a new culture of minimizing the role of money in our political, campaigns and election. So even though election is good, but when the election process become corrupted due to excessive money, and these monies have to be paid for after election, one way or another, I think it's dangerous for the results and for the future of the country.
Okay, that's good. Let me read what the Liberian Constitution says about campaign financing. And I have Article 82 of the Constitution of Liberia, and it says, any citizen or citizens, political party, association, or organizations being of Liberian nationality, let's underscore that, or origin, shall have the right to contribute to the funds or election expenses of any political party or candidate, provided that corporate and business organizations and labor unions shall be excluded from making a contribution that's some problem with this, to the funds of expenses of any political party. The legislature shall by law prescribe the guidelines under which such contributions may be made and the maximum amount which may be contributed. Now, I don't have the law here. I don't know what I know there should be. It says no political party or organization may hold or possess any funds or other assets outside of Liberia. Want to score that too. Nor may they or any independent candidate retain any funds or assets remitted or sent to them from outside Liberia, unless remitted or sent by Liberian citizens
Bingo.
residing abroad. Okay? Any funds or other assets received directly or indirectly in contravention of this restriction shall be paid over or transferred to the elections commission, which sorry, election commission within 21 days of receipt. Information on all funds received from abroad shall be filed promptly with the elections commission. I hope you're taking note.
Right.
Lastly, it says the election commission shall have the power to examine into and order certified audit of the financial transactions of political parties and independent candidates and their organizations. The commission shall prescribe the kinds of records to be kept and the manner in which they shall be conducted by a certified chartered public accountant, not a member of any political party. Now, I come to you that just what you said. I think the Constitution emphasized that they should not wait until after the facts which I think the Constitution is clearly saying here. Let's go to you again that got with what we are reading. Um, do you think that is happening on the ground? Do you think people getting money from abroad will inform the election commission about their finances? Do you
I don't
think
think
there's
that
a
is
format? Do you think there's a format the election commission has given the political parties? These are the templates you should use to get whatever funding you're getting.
yeah, I don't think that is happening. And
Okay.
I think it should happen. We need to know where these monies are coming from, what kind of commitments are being made. I think that the public should get involved, the media should get involved in light of
Okay.
these rules, because this is the way we guide the future of the country, especially with respect to corruption and other kinds of malpractices. There's no free lunch.
Right.
Wherever money comes from, most of the time there are expectations.
Right. Right.
And that's part of the reason why the Constitution is even talking about
Right.
excluding corporations and businesses, even including even Liberian ones as well, to be
Right.
excluded. Because when these businesses and business people or whoever has money, huge amount of money, come in to provide financing, those things come with expectations. And that's
Right.
how the contracts that to be awarded later
Mm-hmm.
can be compromised. So I do not believe that these checks are being implemented as prescribed. And I think we also need need to look at the election laws or the law
Right.
that have been passed relative to this particular matter. But I think it's critical with respect to where these monies are coming from. The issue regarding the way in which CDC is spending resources. That issue of the different billboards or different kind of I don't know the best way to prescribe it or describe it on the use of asset to promote the party with respect to all those pictures and so forth. Some people have estimated that that whole process of putting those pictures up there costs millions of dollars, okay, which is not available for even funding other aspects of government like salaries and so
Right.
forth. Yeah. So
Right. I think,
in short,
uh,
I think there's a need for serious attention to this matter.
and I agree with you. I agree. But let's hear from George Number. Mr. Number, you heard what the Constitution said.
Well, I think uh, it's just on paper. But
Mr. Number,
it has never been practiced in Liberia before.
can it
People
be
raise
practiced
money.
now?
Huh?
Can it be practiced now in these elections?
In this election, no,
Why not?
because
Mm.
the people who have the power, they are the people who are violating the laws. They are the
Okay.
main people violating the laws. So if we have a new administration, we can work with the people on the ground or to make sure that they practice the election law. I even want for the election commission to be reformed, where the
It's
top
late on
maybe
that.
no, not for now, where the
Okay.
top four parties nominate candidates and they put them on the election commission, because
Okay. We will talk
having
about
it
that later.
having it as it is it's not good. So nobody practice the financing or law. Even early time, money came from this country. And when this candidate win, when Jensen win and George Newell does not win, ECOWAS come with a bag of money and give it to George Newell to shut my mouth. And
That's
that's
an allegation.
violated. That's
That's an
violating.
allegation, Mr. Numo.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I know about it. I'm saying it. I know about it. They should contact me. When Ellen won, George Weah and his VP were on one floor, and when the VP looked, they said, "Your man," on the next floor, to receive, a brown bag. What about the man the lawyer who challenged, what's his name? Anyway, I think you know that.
Yeah, okay. The issue
Yeah.
here is, and I like.
So the brown bag issue is one of it. During the election, perhaps including this election, these companies here in Liberia, they go and bribe parties. So these are going on. Even though you were saying an allegation, but I know about some of them.
Okay, but Mr. Numo, this is the issue, right?
Yes.
There's a reason why democracy is set up and the manner and form in which democracy should be protected.
Okay.
The government is elected to serve the people. In the government, you have 3 branches of government. Now, to elect someone to be a representative must be people of sound mind, people of independence, and people who can speak truth to power or who can respect the laws.
Okay.
Now, if the government is not doing it, you have civil society organizations, you have the media, you have other stakeholders within society. Any of you who are now saying these laws have not been applied, have any of you challenged a certain government or an electoral process? Say this election is not free and fair because, for example, let's say George Weah is talking about using $50 million for this campaign, for this election, on his party, not on the government. Dr. Gobo, as we were speaking, my mind went on that. Maybe I'll do my research afterward. Was there an electoral guidelines on financing? What was the limit for a political party to spend on election? Now, let us assume there's a set limit and George Weah and his group, they are spending $50 million above that limit. You mean there's no one in Liberia that can say, this one, I'm going to test this one in the code of law? Because George Weah group, they don't care.
Yeah, right? I think the Constitution is clear that there should be a maximum expenditure. Right. Maximum expenditure means there should be a limit.
Right.
Now, that limit needs to be defined by the legislature.
So true.
And also implemented and enforced by the Election Commission. And I think that not enforcing the election laws, I don't know whether the government should be blamed because the Election Commission should be independent, right?
Right.
So when it comes to running the election according to the Constitution and the election guidelines, it should be the Election Commission's sole responsibility because the Election Commission should be independent.
Right.
So if it is not independent, then we all need to raise the alarm and we all need to call the attention of the international community now because the government should be separate from the Election Commission. The government itself is a player in this election.
Yeah,
it cannot be playing and then be referee at the same time. Any such action should be a violation. So yes, we all make the assumption that the Election Commission, the government should be the one doing the work. But I think the Election Commission should be equipped and the Justice Ministry should be independent enough to not be a part of the political process. If it's not happening, then the results will be questionable. So now is the time for us to raise these things. Even though, again, they have not happened in the past. I agree with Brother Numo. They are not happy in the past. But because these things did not happen, we had a coup. I mean, we had the civil crisis, right? And we had the tension that followed the 1985 election which never stabilized until we had civil war and all of that. So these things should be lessons to say that now is the time, we begin now. And even if we can't do all now, we should be getting closer to doing it right. Every moment we have, every opportunity we have. You see, because in Liberia, this has been one of the big challenges for Liberians to realize that Liberia can be better. We can do better. We can build a better economy. We can build a more just and a compassionate society. And those are the kinds of things that my party is concerned about. The ADML, respecting Liberia's past, but at the same time, identifying major weaknesses and trying to build the aspiration that we can do better. And that is a big challenge. And for me right now, I see it almost like a cultural war in this country, where people believe that, oh, Liberia has never been better, and they assume that Liberia will continue to be the same way, versus saying, yes, Liberia has not been as good as it should be. We need to go to a better place.
But
I think
Jensen touched some points, and I think those things were happening when Charles Taylor was president of Liberia. The media was functioning. The Liberia Council of Churches, you name it, civil society were functioning. They were attacking or some of these things that Charles Taylor was doing. But since that time, anytime we didn't see that, here is we are. Everybody, those institutions are now conflicted. That is the main issue of Liberia. Even the law, the bar association, they see some of these issues, they don't talk about them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about a legal candidate or making references to them, but as an organization, they are not been attacking these things here. We have, I know, Umabuki, the bar association, they don't say anything.
no, that
And
is not true.
Umabuki, got promoted. Civil society there, no, the media there, it depends on who gave them more dollars.
Right.
That a Gompu give them $5, give them $10, no, they will go with me. So these the whole Liberian society is in disarray. Police officer want money, teacher want money, pastor want money. So we need a new administration, and we need somebody like Joe Boakai to come and fix everything.
But I mean,
It's not a
no, no,
common
no, no.
fixing
Okay,
now. Yeah.
listen. You
Okay,
see, we're
not
talking about
campaign.
campaign financing. We're talking about campaign financing here,
Okay.
and we just few months, a few months ago, it was the same Joseph Boakai
Yeah.
and Costa who were negotiating $30 million.
Okay.
Whether that is true, as something that was in the public domain, right? Now,
Yeah.
that was the same thing that Ogopo was talking about.
Okay.
People may
Okay.
be doing their underground deal, right?
I understand.
Of campaign financing. And
I
I will agree
understand.
with you in part, because civil society organization, there should be people who will run behind this kind of information to know whether it's true or not.
We don't
We can't just be
have
talking about
Bishop
Joseph. We
Michael
can't
Francis
listen,
anymore.
Mr. Lumbo. We
Yes.
cannot be talking about the government alone. All right.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
government is using state resources. It is
I agree
possible the
with you.
government also, in fact, doing campaign, government should not be striking deals with other organizations. In the same vein, we should not be expecting political parties to do the same thing, because all of these things disenfranchise other political parties or other candidates, and that also, breed corruption. So these are the issues. It's not just about talking about one group of persons here.
Okay.
The laws the founding fathers of the land, they knew all of these things would have happened. So they put into place mechanism. The law is well written. But like you said, it's not just civil society, but collectively. What are the people doing? The media, civil society organizations, political parties. What are you all doing as to, because these are issues that you all should discuss from the onset. Political parties, all right, can be financing. But I doubt it. Whether political parties themselves do know the limit that they're supposed to operate in. Do you have any idea, Mr. Numo?
I understand what you are saying. I understand the $30 million issue. I understand the $5 million issue in 2017. The $5 million that Ellen took to Boakai to protect her family. And Boakai said, where the money coming from? She could not explain it, and Boakai refused the money. The $30 million issue, Boakai went there.
Those are allegations, Mr. Numo. Can we
No,
put
I'm
on
telling
that
you,
directly?
I'm telling you what I know.
So when did Ellen take this money to Boakai and Boakai
That was
refused?
2017.
During the campaign?
Yes. And after that, that's the time she left from behind Boakai. I know that. And you
Is
can
that what
ask
Joseph Boakai is saying?
You can ask Joe Boakai himself, he will tell you. And the $30 million, he went to Ghana and what the title, Wologisi. And Joe Boakai said, the next government, or you need to wait until the next government comes to power. So, these are the things. The
But
money.
Joe Boakai was looking for money during the campaign, and his former tenor bearer, former leader of the party, brought $5 million, and he refused it.
Dr. Gompu, yes.
Anyway, that we will attribute that to George Numo. George Numo should be able to provide a clarity on that, just in case the public wanted information, right? But we at Two Radio will have no knowledge about what Mr. Numo have said. It's likely, or it could still be some rumor or something. But just that Mr. Numo is well respected, so he says anything, he can be held accountable for that. But let's move forward with now. I mean, the two of you have made a lot of sense about this campaign financing. Is there any recommendation, do you think, on this issue that the government would like to tell political parties, the different sectors of Liberia, how could they go about? Election is in full swing, but this is a very important issue.
I think the Election Commission, as well as the legislature, should be clear on what the bar is with respect to maximum amount that can be spent, especially since the Constitution says it clearly. I've not heard anything from the Election Commission with respect to the maximum amount that can be spent. And the issue of auditing. The auditing process should be ongoing while the election goes on. Because I think when political parties know that, they will think twice as they make deals and they make promises. And I think it's time too for Liberia to begin to consider the issue of public financing of campaigns, so that so many compromises and bad deals are avoided, or at least are reduced. A number of countries have these things. United States has it. I think Haiti has it, and some other countries. But the issue of public financing of campaigns, where we recognize that the election is in the country's interest, and it should not be solely the responsibility of the political party or the leader of political parties to provide all of the financing. And so that discussion should be held, and consideration should be made with respect to how we minimize the influence of money in our politics. The citizens themselves have to play a role. The citizens themselves need to play a role. The whole idea of people using campaign season like a harvest time for money is terrible in our society,
Right.
and it's dangerous for the integrity of the society, because people are trying to sell their votes, they're trying to raise money all kinds of ways, and it's not good for the future of this country.
Mr. Numo,
Yes.
um, this is a very important issue, but I'm looking at how do we, how should political parties get money to finance their campaign? You care
Okay.
to mention that? How you think? What are
I
some of the
think I
mechanisms?
think I think you are asking the right person. Joseph Walker communicated with John Monroe, and that John Monroe committee, I'm heading it. And this is the first time that we are asking the public to finance Joe Walker campaign. Joe Walker does not. I mean, I watch a TV Punch. I think Punch TV. It looked like somebody there who is making T-shirts or hats, and I mean they are overwhelmed with orders. So that's how we want campaign to be financed. It should be the people, not the candidate. If we continue the way we are going, we will not have the right people, to serve us. We'll have those with money to serve us. Let George Weah go back to 2005. People financed his campaign. People were making their T-shirt, they were making their buttons. Let him go to that, and let's see, whether he still has the support of those people or not. So we need to move away, as Dr. Gumpu was saying, from Jesse is running and he just came from America. He had all the money, so it's time for us to eat. Then we run behind you, and that is still going on in Liberia. But I don't know how we can promote it. I feel that I know the opposition parties in Liberia should do know what Joe Boakai has done by selecting John Monroe. And uh, I saw Yombri on Class Reloader yesterday. They went to District 17 and they said the turnout was great. But she said, no, they didn't provide anything apart from a bag of mineral water. They didn't provide anything for anybody. All those people that came. I think that's how it should be. So
Okay,
that's my
just for your information, I just quickly searched on this elections expenses and accountability, and what I'm reading is just
uh
a short information. It's not detailed as you all have been expressing.
Okay.
On the reference, it says section 5.3 of the of Liberia. Just a second. Section 5.3 of the National Elections Commission regulations and guidelines relating to political parties and independent candidates. That's section 5.3. And then, just a second, please. 5.3, 5.1, 5.3 have election expenses. And this is what they have there. It says Article 83D of the Liberian Constitution and relevant provisions of the new elections law relating to contribution and expenditure of party funds, banking, reporting, and accountability shall be adhered to, period. All candidates shall submit to the Commission accounts of their election expenses within 30 days after the official announcement of the election's result. That's all they say here. Nothing more like that. The couple was saying they will give a detailed limitation on how much you spend. All of this, I think, is after the fact. All this, the election commission is saying here, or what the regulation is saying, that all of those who are participating in the election, they must submit their financial report to the election commission after the election is being announced. So yeah, so our expectation has been dashed because it's not detailed. Maybe they have a detail on other, I don't know, but this is the regulation they have. So I think it should have been well detailed here, so that Liberians or political parties should have known, as per the constitution, how much money they are allowed to spend in an election. That's what the constitution, the limit. There should have been a limit. So the legislature should have provided that limit to political parties. Is that reasonable enough, that Gopu and Mr. Numbo?
I think that's inadequate. The Constitution clearly says that there should be a maximum amount to be spent,
Okay.
and there should be mechanisms put in place to know where these monies are coming from and to
Right.
discourage political parties and political leaders from taking money from anywhere. And I think the election commission is supposed to also speak to citizens themselves as well,
Right.
that it is illegal to demand or expect political parties and political candidates to pay you for your votes, to pay you to use cash to persuade you to vote. I think is a form of bribe, and it really fuel corruption in the country, because when these people go that extra mile to spend money that they do not own, those monies have to be paid back. And
Okay.
that focus on trying to pay off their debt means they're not going to be working for those who voted for them. And they're going to be working for those who can help them to pay off their debt, and
Agree.
will be in that vicious cycle. I think many of our people do not understand these linkages, and they do not understand that they are on a self-destructive path when they demand so much of political candidates. And so the institutions, including you and I, including the media, including the election commission, should take the lead in this process to sound these alarms, to educate the people. See, people should not say, well, this thing is too hard. It's never been done before, so we'll not even try, we'll not even discuss it. Because that's part of what is going on. Like, okay, nobody's going to listen, so there's no need to even try. You see? And we approach nation building in that format, it's going to be very difficult to move forward. So we really have to help our people to become critical thinkers, because we have been privileged to not only live and experience our society, but we've also lived outside our society. And we're seeing how other advanced systems work. We're not saying that we can automatically push our country to become advanced, but we can bring in some of the good ideas that make us a country that abides by rule of law, that have some guidelines, and that we don't just write papers, but we are also prepared to walk the walk to make our country better. Only we can do it.
I think
So
you both are really making some good sense here. And as I was listening to you, I also crossed my mind on what Jordan almost said, right? And this is something that is affecting every spectrum of our society. And so I think Liberia is really in a difficult situation, because who are going to be the watchdogs? Who are going to be there to checkmate? Who are going to be able to read these laws and say, this is what the law says? We almost respect what the law says. I listened to George Nomo allegation to say, well, 5 million that came from a sitting president, let's say a former sitting president, to support a candidate. And I think she should have known, let us assume now, I don't have the fact, but let us assume that was even true. Someone who should know the law did that, allegedly. We don't have the fact. But crossing our eye further to that, you know, there are people who are running around who are, politics is becoming so bad that even flunkies can shoot their way to power. All you have to do is get in a political race like this. Maybe you start singing some songs, make yourself more popular, and with the people, and the people decide to, get familiar with your name, and then you announce your candidacy, and then you don't have to worry about going to high school, studying tough to make yourself important. As long as you are recognized, that's what Liberians looking for now, and that's why the country keep failing. Because even look at people who are supporting these candidates. Some of them, if we're looking at, for example, high school records, and say, well, if you didn't complete a full high school, you don't have proof of your. If you say the war destroy your records, there must be some other way as to how the government should have put system in place that those who, for any reason, lose their document should have gone to retrieve those documents. There's some other means. But it's like everybody don't care for transparency. Now, when you come to this kind of a high place contested elections, you want transparency. How can that be? When you have those who are running the system, some of them did not. They don't even. When they talk about complete high school, people say education is not important. Do you have a bachelor degree? People say things is not important. Some people who failed their past, they maneuver, they got other document. Those kind of persons are not going to be talking about transparency. You know that. So who are those occupying this position of trust to be accountable?
So that's why we have to build the economy. We have to build the economy. Let people have opportunities to address their economic problems. But in a weak economy, people see this political process as an opportunity to get extra money, free money.
Right.
And they think that they can even get more money from the political process than working. So you have a society where people are thinking that participating in politics, doing public service is the way to become wealthy. That's a dangerous path. Because sooner or later, a lot of people are going to stop working and they're just going to be involved in these scams. They get these top positions, they get these titles, and they're doing nothing in these offices in terms of performance, in terms of oversight, in terms of advocacy. They're just there to eat. And this is the kind of culture that is developing in society. And we have very high illiteracy rate. The educational system is weak. So right now, it's those privileged few, like you and I, and the institutions that need to raise their own standards. Nobody's going to fix Liberia for us. We can blame this United Nations, this, that, and all along. Sooner or later, they're going to cut and say it's time for us to leave. And we are stuck with it. So we begin now to really challenge our people, and to find other ways. Why we can, focus on investments. Why we can focus as, organizations on what activities we can do in this society to produce something, to generate income. Everybody just want to do politics. They come to politics, to just steal, to just rip the society off. And who are they stealing from? The society is already weak. Then you collect, revenue. You make these deals. You pass inflicted contracts,
right?
And then you get all the kickbacks from it, and the society continues to suffer. Things continue to fall apart. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
point.
really,
Okay.
we have to continue these conversations. We have to continue to engage the citizens. I'm telling you, I'm a head of a political party. I see so many things that happen. People join the political party and they expect that to come to meetings, you must, provide transportation for them to come to meeting. And then after the meeting, they should be giving something that will take at home to their families, and then pay their way home, and then give them refreshment at the meetings. And then when you say, okay, what's the source of the fund? This is a political party. This is not, a social club. This is a political. So the political party should have money to provide all these things.
Okay.
How is that possible? muscles.
Dr. Gopu, we get a lot to discuss. We have 6 minutes to go, and we have a last issue to we talk about. Let me start with again, George, number on that. How do we, with all of these things, this discussion, you both supposed to like, get to your political leaders, you start some debate. You know, for two already, we are here for that. But let's talk about how do we maintain the peace. You know, all of those things sometimes are the end result. Sometimes it's confusion. It's either a coup, insurrection, violence. This election, there's a lot of expectation for Liberians. Everybody think they're going to win the election, and everybody will not win the election. It's one person supposed to win the election, and that person should be able to win the election in a free, fair, and transparent manner.
52%.
How do we maintain? Yeah, 50 plus 1%. You must get that to win on first ballot. For me, I'm clear on that.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but I don't think no one party can win election on first round.
Okay.
It's easier to see crowd. Joe, we are yesterday did not put out 1 million. The difference did not put out 1 million person.
No.
It's not possible. But Liberians, imagine 200 persons meeting a place. You would think that's a whole nation. So crowd, we can evaluate crowd, but also take the mindset of people to do that. But let's look at the issue of maintaining peace. The U.S. Embassy and other well-meaning Liberians have also emphasized this, and we keep emphasizing that. Okay. Because it's different than the run around and different than the hear election result, and people start thinking, "Oh, I should have won the election."
Different thing. Different thing to make projections, like George.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, George, how do we maintain peace?
Thank you.
We see what happened in West Africa right now, right? Everybody say no.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. I want to start with something. And you would say...
I would disagree if you call for coup. Yeah.
You would say the allegation again. It is sad whether she was joking or not. For the former president of Liberia, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to opine that she preferred Gabon style than Joe Bouaka becoming president.
When she said that?
Recently.
Do you have that on tape? Do you have a recording?
Recently, it was on Prophet Key's show, and I went at the bottom and I found out where the information came from. So I know what I'm talking about.
Recently. Will you share that with us later on?
No, I can't share it with you. No,
right? Because the reason I'm asking this, Mr. Numo, this is it, right? There are a lot of people listening to us, and most often
I cannot share the information on this show. But
no, I'm not saying
what? Okay, yeah.
But you have said it, Mr. Numo. If you say it's a public knowledge, right?
Yes, so it is.
Yeah,
but no. The source is he did not go at the back of it. But I went at the back of it.
But then we can, if we cannot get the information, most often we think.
No, I cannot get it on this show here. I cannot give it to you on this show here.
And you can't give it to me in person. You can't trust me either to give me the information, right?
No, in person I can give it to you, with a commitment that you are not going to, reveal it.
No, I will not reveal it. But if it is true, and because this is the same thing we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Mr. Numo, I don't just think we should be putting out this public information and we cannot provide the sources. Sometimes you can hold your source.
Oh, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. Media people convey
give Mr. Numo, we don't have much time here. What I'm saying to you, Mr. Numo.
No, media people do not do that. You protect
listen to me. Mr. Numo, you're speaking as a guest on the show, right?
Okay.
And then you are revealing someone's name, one permanent person. Ellen Johnson is not just anybody. So if you are alleging that she did something and you put that information out, somebody will say, "Wow, to really to know better, you should press Mr. Numo to get his information in detail to the public."
Okay.
right? And so on the basis of that, I'm asking you this question, not because I just want to get
Okay.
anybody linked to a
I
situation. No.
I made it
Yeah.
clear
So
to you. I made it clear to you
mhm.
that off the radio, I can tell you, what I know about it, but
Okay.
not
All right.
on
So we
radio.
keep it
Okay.
at that.
Yeah,
So
We keep it
you need to protect your associate. But let's make progress.
okay.
okay. I
Uh,
think you done?
Yeah, Mr. Gopo.
no,
You done?
Yes,
no,
go ahead,
no,
You
no,
brother.
no.
done?
I'm saying, okay. You want
You
to
still
put,
speak?
okay?
Okay,
If you
let me
want
go
to
ahead.
add on, or you can. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to express concern about that claim. We know it's election time, and those who support GNB will want to try to uh, bring issues to elevate his integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I recall that one of the issues in the Unity Party during the 2017 election was that funding was not coming from Madam Salif. Funding was not coming from Madam Salif, and that she had been approached so many times to help. So that claim that she, offered some money to Joe Boaka, which he refused, is dramatic, and it could backfire because, on the one hand, she was being blamed for not supporting the party. And so I don't know how Unity Party people might feel if they hear that, oh, that she offered that much money and he rejected it. While at the same time, he's making deals with Prince Johnson and other people. So it's kind of, it would raise some concern. So again, it's election time, and maybe we should take it just as that and find a way to move on.
Okay.
Okay. I
So
stand
we were talking
by.
about uh-huh.
I stand by that statement,
Okay, Mr. Numa will get to it.
and and uh, behind the door, I can explain everything to you.
Okay. All
I
right, Mr. Numa,
know that
we
happened.
anything of the statement made is from you, and you have all right, freedom
Yes.
of expressions, and
Okay.
the abuse thereof or the misuse of the information is on the onus is on you. But let's
Okay.
move further
Yeah.
to we were talking about maintaining peace, and that Gopo wanted to hear your side, and then we take
Okay,
your closing comment.
Mm-hmm.
right. So maintain the peace.
Yeah.
I subscribe to the statement that if you want peace, you should fight for justice.
Yes.
Okay.
So peace is the result of the the commitment and the dedication to fighting for justice. So these issues that we've discussed, moving the needle on this issue in terms of progress,
Hmm.
making sure that the election is fair, that political parties are consulted, they are represented, that the process of collecting votes, counting votes, and ensuring transparency and election security, these things are revealed to political parties in advance. This is how
Yeah.
we're going to do it. These are the procedure. These are the guidelines. And let them know and let them critique the process in advance. Okay, those things will promote fairness in the election, and
Right.
and the result will be peace. Okay, but if you just emphasize and overemphasize peace without looking at issue of equity and justice, then you're not being very serious.
Right.
And that's one of the things I see many of our international friends and partners doing. They just emphasizing, oh, there should be peace. There should be peace. Let everybody sign a Farmington agreement, sign for peace and whatsoever, without looking at issues of justice and fairness and the rules, and everybody dedicating themselves to living by the law. rule of law. So that would be my comment on it.
Okay,
You
all
want
right.
peace,
Before
fight for
before
justice.
I agree with you, Mr. Nomo.
Yeah.
Let me put it in this way, practical. Why if George Weah wins elections and United Party and all other parties, don't win on first ballot? What would be your take?
Well, if there is free and fair election
Mhm,
and uh, George Weah wins the election,
mhm,
all these things the U.S. Embassy talking about, if they put those things in place,
mhm,
if they allow Unity Party recommendation that results should be announced district by district, if
mhm,
they do all those things, and everybody is set, not I won't say certified. Let's say the international partner say it was free and fair and it's transparent. Like at the polling center, they put the list up, and journalists are allowed to go there and take the pictures and share the pictures. If those things happen,
mhm.
I will congratulate George Weah. But
Okay.
if those things do not happen, it means the failure of gentility, and that would give rise to brutality.
Let me put it this way too to
So
you,
no,
John Nemo.
that's
We,
why.
we are going to
Go
close,
ahead.
but let me put it this way. Why if someone who is not putting out a crowd and the person is working hard to get the numbers? For example, let me just throw this out. What if someone like Tiwan Gonglo is named as a winner of the elections, and people did not see him putting on a crowd, like the WIA, like the Unity Party or the CPP and whatever stuff?
Well,
We are the Unity Party and others accept the result.
well, the weird crowd is a higher crowd.
Right.
The crowd is been hired,
You
and
say
the
higher?
Waka cry
Okay.
is
Mhm.
the Waka cry crowd is organic crowd, and
That's
if
that's been biased. That's been biased. That's a
and
statement of
if
uh,
somebody that you want Gongro,
wins
because
election, you challenge it.
I saw somebody, even though they're my party, but I saw one of my parties and say, they are not part of the crowd politics. If somebody were like Tia Wong Gonglo
Mhm.
becomes the winner
Right.
of the election, and it is declared as free and fair,
Okay.
because I know about discussion between Zizig or Dusty and the Commerce County, your
You call
party.
people name, those people don't have the opportunity to respond to your comment. That's the problem I'm always having
Oh
with
no,
you.
no, let them type, and you get
No, no, I'm
comment area here. Let them type their comments. I mean, a week or two from here,
okay.
we
All right.
can read their comments. So if Tiawan Gonglo or Clarence Moriba or Cummings,
Mhm.
those people who are not pulling the crowd, if they become winner, if one of them become winner, no, I have nothing against it. If it is free and fair.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah.
get you. So as
Mhm.
long as free and fair elections, whoever wins the election, I think that's what we all stand for, right?
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
process is free, fair, transparent, it doesn't matter who wins the election. And
And
that's the
and if there is a second round,
mm,
one of those come in a second round with we are, I almost call him we said, with we are, I will support that opposition leader.
okay, that would be a stressful period if we go to the second round. But out of the division within the opposition political party, we will see how that will work. Anyway, we have come too far, and so it's time to close. And then we ask for your closing comment, and we start with Dada Guapo, and we end up with Mr. Nomo.
Okay, thank you, Turning Jensen, for inviting me here today. I think this conversation has been healthy, and I
Thank you.
hope that people in our society will benefit from it. I hope it encourages more discussions, not only on 2A radio, but also on other platforms. It's time to look at the issues. It's time to do what we need to do now in order to get the peaceful result so that we can get on with building our country, building our economy, and helping our people. So thank you so much for the
Okay.
chance to be here today.
Okay, Mr. Numa.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Jensen. Somebody told me when you run for elected position once, you are always honorable.
No, but
So,
that's wrong. To be an honorable, you must
so,
you must
so thank you, Honorable Jensen. I
yeah,
think I enjoyed the discussion, and discussion like this is necessary to motivate civil society organizations on the ground.
right,
As I said before, when Father Francis was living, when
right,
Taylor
right,
was president, you saw all these civil society organizations speaking out.
right,
Well, I don't know what kind of peppermint Ellen put in their mouths. Ellen time they didn't do anything. And now we have George Weah. I don't know what kind of push George Weah give to the civil society organizations. I saw a group of people parading yesterday. We want Kush. We want Kush. It was very sad. So
wow,
that is the type of society we have now. So we have our work cut out for us.
mm,
And I think what we need to do is I urge everybody, every Liberian, not to vote for George Weah. Vote for anybody you see in the opposition society or opposition parties. If we vote George Weah for another 6 years, there will be nothing left called Liberia. I rest my case.
okay, that was his statement, and of course, that statement belonged to Mr. George Numu. Okay. Anyway, we want to say thank you for coming. It was a pleasure to have the both of you on the show, and feel free anytime. This kind of a discussion, what society should be like, and what are our expectations for society. We are living in a civilized society, so we always think about where we come from. So talking about elections, the campaign financing is just perfect that people should not be using state resources to finance campaign. Every political party should have due payment members, and they should be able to draw up programs as to how they can generate money. You don't wait until election time and then you jump in a race and you want to run a political party. All right. And then especially the ruling party using state resources, that should not be allowed. It should be on the basis of what your party has generated. If all of those people who have been members of the ruling party were contributing their dues, probably this like the CDC would have had more money. Not just the CDC, but the United Party, they been in power for 12 years. So they should have had enough due payment members, and that they could have had more money. Or they should even have businesses, people who have established businesses honestly, and then could have been given back to the party. But you get people coming to power, all they want to do is to keep being in power throughout their years. That's something that troubles me. You serve in government for 12 years and you still want to be in government, yet and still you cannot only open a juice factory in Liberia, right? So these are the issues. Campaign financing, it was perfectly discussed. We hope now you Liberians who are listening will take cue from this. Transparency, everybody have said it. This election should not be tampered with. We do not think the ruling party should tamper the election. In the same vein, I think it was Dr. Gopu who raised this issue in our last discussion. Opposition political parties do not use technology to go into the election commission's files to rig the election. So rigging election is not just an obligation on the ruling party. It's also an obligation on opposition political party. Because there are some smart persons who may not be with the ruling party. Or some people could be sitting out cleverly thinking. Right now, talking about artificial technology, you can sit and just ask questions and get results. We don't want people to tamper with the election. We also hope the election commission herself protecting her files, so that when something goes wrong, they cannot scapegoat. Oh, people came and went into our computer, our technology, and things broke down. No, you must protect it. That's an obligation placed on the election commission. All right. On the issue of maintaining peace, the election result, when it's announced, all the one year around, you must accept the result, especially so when it's free, fair, and transparent. Even if it's not free, fair, transparent, there is a way out. You go to the court. We don't want people taking guns to say, oh, we're going to, the Ali Bongo will start. No. We want Liberia to be peaceful. That's what we advocate for. Having said those, it was a pleasure. We see a few persons here who've been watching. We can read all of the comment. Ogon Kofo, James Yatu, Paboy. We see Koboy. Patient is also watching. We see, yeah. So we say thank you for those of you watching. Share the video and make a comment. We'll be glad to hear from you. Having said that, we say this is the African Action Network radio and television station. We are here. If you have any comment and you want to respond, hey, feel free. Just give us a text or give us a call. We'll be glad to hear your side of the story, especially so allegation that came from Mr. Nomo. Having said that, thank you so much. Have a pleasant and a wonderful day. Until next time, this is the African